down. I was low potassium. I had an abscess. I was infected. I was starving. And they started helping me figure out, meals and insulin. And I wasn't tired anymore. And even just getting the sugar down in a matter of, a day, I felt different. It was crazy. I spoke to a diabetic educator, and they offered me what they call a C-peptide test. This tests for what your pancreas makes, and it takes a little while to come back. So actually, while I was in the hospital, they did not know what exactly was going on, but this test would be sent to my doctor. And they sat down and talked with me, and I started insulin. And first of all, I guess my whole bunch of babble that I just told you is don't be afraid of needles. I know that a lot of people get scared of needles, but insulin is something that seems to have almost no side effects. I've been on insulin since September, and it's May, and I get tired, I get low, I get high sugar readings, but it has made a great difference in my life. But the having late onset found after so many years, it destroyed my teeth. It restricted the blood flow. The teeth weren't really that full of cavities. There was a few little ones that were there from before, but I kind of describe it like, think about a tree that's not given water. The inside of the tree dries out and starts to crack off, or the branches fall, and I had to have all my teeth pulled. I have constant pain from muscles, and it's not horrific pain, it's just constant mild aches and pains that are more, though, than, like, if you twisted your back. It's just always there. I'm always tired or super energetic. Ask my kids. I go from, wanting to fall asleep to racing across the country. I smile and I look like old grandma here. On that note, I actually do have dentures that don't fit yet because I'm still healing. According to my dentist, I'm still swollen here to be able to get them in yet, but they're close. And the other thing that I guess that I'm trying to say out of this mess, I'm trying to give you some symptoms, is type 1 late onset is caused by autoimmune system conditions. I have asthma, I have eczema, and as a kid, I had my immune system attack my eye, and they've run every test under the sun, and they can't figure out any other reason than just that's what my body does. The way I get it is that your immune system attacks your pancreas and attacks your insulin production, and basically your pancreas wears out, and that's why it starts so late in life. And often, because it starts late in life, your body starts out by being able to make some insulin. Your insulin production is just decreased, and that's what type 2 is as well. But as a late onset type 1, your pancreas keeps shutting down more and more, where your pancreas just makes less. But I tried so hard and talked to doctors and talked to my family and to friends, and had so many people saying, what's going on with you is weird, you need to ask your doctor this, and I'd bring it up and they didn't listen. And as far as I remember, in all those years of being treated before moving to where I am now, they never would retest any kind of tests. I didn't know a C-peptide test existed. And I just sort of felt like, I was kind of just resigned myself, I guess, more is what I'm saying, to being permanently sick, and that my life was going to be constant tired, constant thirsty, constant bathroom runs all my life. And I thought maybe that was just my stage of diabetes. And now, yeah, like yesterday, I was at a family member's house having dinner, and I took insulin according to what I should have for a meal, and my sugar went low, and it kept going low, and I had to drink a random glass of juice, and it still was low. And then when I was driving home, I had to stop at a gas station and get a snack because my sugar was still low, and I didn't have anything in the car. And then I got home and later was hungry and ate a snack, and my sugar went up. And I, I go to a friend's house and I don't pay attention, and I ate a piece of pie that they made, and I go up. It's the life of a diabetic. I have a very great support system. My One of my friends is a juvenile diabetic, but she's always got so much great advice for me. And I I've accepted what I have, and I'm a type 1. I keep an eye on my kids, make sure that they don't start. But I guess I keep saying that, I guess, but I don't ever want anyone to have to be where I was, where I there was, if I hadn't had my husband bring my butt to the emergency room, I probably wouldn't be here. I mean, and it was because doctors wouldn't bother testing for something. Type 1 late onset, or LADA type 1, is a disease that is a type of diabetes, joked to be type 1.5, or some doctors refer to it as type 1.5 to make sure that people understand it's different than the juvenile diabetes or type 2. But it's an incurable disease. It's not something that you can lose weight or take the right amount of medicine and be able to back off of your treatments. You are permanently that. And it's a disease that comes out of nowhere later in life, and many times it's said to be type 2, and it's sort of pushed under a rug or misdiagnosed, and you're just shoved with more and more medicine. And if I had been an insulin type 2, they may never really figured it out. And there's different insulins out there. I don't know all the different types, but I know that there's a type that they use for type 2, and I know there's a type for type 1, and there's a difference. But I guess that's my story. And I want to make an awareness for type 1 late onset so that there's nobody else that gets sick, and there's no one who has to suffer and almost die and get ketoacidosis. I'd never heard of late onset myself, and I've never met anyone with late onset except my diabetic educator in the hospital. He had started at the type 1 at age 22, I think he said. He never had diabetes, and he was playing hockey in high school and college, and I believe was in college on a scholarship, and started getting all of the symptoms. And I was actually at a summer camp that I worked at. I was at a retreat for the spring, I guess not really summer camp. And one of the ladies was talking to me and made a comment about something to do with my teeth. I don't really remember how we got from point A to point B, but the conversation turned to this disease, and she told me that her cousin had type 1 late onset. And in my 34 years and 6 years of being a diabetic, I have never heard of it, and now here's 3 people. It's not common, but it's more common than you think. It is a rare disease, and I'm kind of a special one. And I'm not saying that people who don't have diabetes aren't special. It's a disease that you don't realize can destroy things. I have lost my teeth because of it. I've lost 130 pounds and gained weight back, and I had joint damage and pain. I spent 6 months congested and with headaches, not knowing that my teeth were just, rotting away in my mouth, meaning the roots had died because of the lack of blood flow. And I know other things can happen. You can have heart disease, you can have numbness in your feet, you can, and those are common to diabetes, but for people like us, it comes on quicker because of what it takes forever to figure it out. And somebody like me, again, personally here, I'm a type O negative blood type. And anytime that I would ever need a transplant, which could happen to anybody, even non-diabetics, I'm kind of screwed because there's so few that would donate for that type. I mean, they're not out there. So you have to really take care of yourself. As a teenager, I didn't drink. In my early 20s, I was usually the designated driver, the person that had one drink and just sat and visited. I never cared to drink, but alcohol, I've noticed when I do drink, goes up and down so crazy. If I take any kind of cough syrup with this, like cough syrup has made me drop to my toes. It's made me go super high. I can't take hardly any medications. It's pretty much nasal spray, cough drops, and I have one Advil decongestant that I've found. It's crazy. I use essential oils, and I love those. They relieve pain and are good decongestants, and I don't have to play with sugar and weird medication. Um, Anyways, I'm not putting this out there for subscriptions and followers or whatever you call it when you're on YouTube. I'm putting this out there as a hope that if somebody sees this, they can tell their friends and have this video go out there to hopefully save someone's life if you are type 1 late onset. I didn't put any personal information in here. If you have any interest to learn any more, you want to talk to me, feel free to make a comment, and perhaps we can, make a phone call, text message, or, whatever, however it works. But I encourage you, if you guys are having diabetic type 2 and things aren't going the way they should, to ask for a C-peptide test and to make sure that you haven't developed something else, and look through your other health issues that you've had in your life and see if there's anything that you can pinpoint to give you another reason that maybe you've got something else wrong. And I hope that this helps you get healthy if you aren't. And if you are healthy, I hope this helps you stay healthy. And I hope you all have a great day. Bye.